Hey speakers, today we will talk about the three common mistakes in storytelling. So, number one is we always focus on the story which we want to tell, not which the audience wants to hear. But we forget one thing that the actual story is for the audience and it begins with the audience. Now, even if you know the story in and out, whatever story you are going to tell in front of the audience, even if you know it really well, even if you know it really really well, you have to change the story every single time. Yes, you have to tweak and twist the story. You have to tell it differently all the time, because if the audience is same, because see, every time the category of the audience, the whole profile of the audience, it changes, right? And accordingly you have to tweak and twist your story, because it should be connected to the audience. The audience should be ready to listen to you, right? So I think in some video I have talked about audience profiling as well, wherein as to how to uh, make your story according to the audience. Like, audience profiling is knowing more about your audience. Who are these people? What is that which they most connect to? Where do you find these people? What is their interest? What are their hobbies? What is that knowledge which they are very curious to listen to, right? So you have to do a small research. So that is audience profiling, which is on another video. Yeah, coming back to the three mistakes of storytelling. Number one mistake, as I was saying, that we keep the complete focus on what we want to say. Now, what you have to do here is ask yourself three questions. What is that internal shift which you want to make within your audience? Or what is that one thing which you want them to know? Or what is that limiting mindset of the audience which you want to shift, which is actually stopping them to move forward, which is actually hindering them to take the next step, or they are fearful, they are afraid of the next step, and you want to break that mindset. Okay, talk about that. But the major part of the whole thing is, who are they? Who is your audience? Accordingly you have to tweak and twist the story always. Like, I would like to give an example. Suppose I'm going to a college, and I'm talking to the teens, maybe the first year graduates, or maybe the first year, grade 11 students, right? So when I am sharing any inspirational story of mine, so I will not talk about my entrepreneurial journey, because they haven't completed that phase yet. Okay, when maybe they are to enter into entrepreneurship, definitely I will be giving examples of my entrepreneurial journey, how I faced the challenges, how I moved ahead. But right now, as my audience is just teens, they are graduates, or they are not even graduates, undergraduates. So what I would focus on is the self discipline. I will give the same story, I will tell, but I will focus on the self discipline more. Like, for example, I will tell them how I wrote my book in just 5 months, right? And how I focused on the routine. Every single morning I used to take out 20 minutes of me time, and I used to write the thoughts, I used to write whatever comes to my mind, focusing at the chapters of the book. And how I completed, I took a target of 5 months, and how I completed complete editing, publishing, everything done within 5 months, right? And a lot of inner work also went there, because I had to interview around 20 eminent personalities. I have to write their mail, and wait for their mails. If I write 10 mails, I get 3 responses, right? So that way, how I set small goals and actually completed each and every small step, right? I would talk about that, so that they learn that self discipline is the most important part of becoming successful. So that is how, if the same thing, if I'm talking to the team leaders, definitely I'll talk more about the entrepreneurial journey, how self discipline is important for entrepreneurial journey, right? So that way you have to change and tweak the same story according to the audience. Number two mistakes. Sometimes we talk only about the achievements, the victories, and forget to talk about the failures which we had, right? So most of the time, all the storytellers, they do this mistake. Now imagine the movie Bahubali. Okay, if I say that, if I change the movie, like the movie starts with Bahubali living in the luxury, okay, like he has all the riches of the world, and his brother, he gives him the kingdom very easily, because, okay, you are my brother, so take the kingdom. All his girlfriends, I mean, he was very easily able to marry to his girlfriend, and everybody is happy around. All the servants are there to serve him, and the movie ends with the same theme that, he's living his luxury, resting there, having the whole kingdom and people addressing, people attending to him, right? And so there's no difference between the beginning and the end. Don't you think the story will be a little boring and nobody will be watching it? What people get attracted to is your failures, is the struggles, is the challenges, is the adversities, right? So focus on, so those are the heart of the story, right? So people are attracted to his war mindset. He's not giving up until he won, right? He keeps fighting, keeps fighting. So that is what people are attracted to, right? That is the heart of the story. So always include struggles in your story. Number three mistake is, sometimes we get into the story, we are very confidently speaking and telling out the story, but what happens is we forget the structure. There's no structure. Sometimes, it seems like, it feels like, okay, one Sunday morning I woke up and I wanted to call my friend for a lunch, and I saw that it is a Monday, but so I cannot call him. And it was raining outside, and I had to change my clothes. Can you see the four parts are just dwindling here and there? So there's no link between, I woke up, it was a Sunday, then there's a Monday, so I cannot call my friend. It was raining, I have, right? So sometimes we start doing this, there's no structure. We just tell a story, but there's no structure, right? Always remember that a structure in a story always helps you to, stay connected, to the ideas, and also it helps the audience to remember it. Ask these five questions to yourself whenever you are looking at a structure, looking to give a structure in your story, right? Yes, ask these five questions to yourself while you are making a structure. See, a story, give a structure to it, so that the flow of the thoughts or the flow of the story is in a very, what you say, effortlessly it flows. So the number one is, what is the context of the story? Like, what is the purpose? What is the message you're going to give to the audience? That is the first thing. Second thing is the characters. Who are the characters in this story? Is it you yourself, or is it some inspirational person? Who are the characters, and is it linked to the audience? Why should the audience even care? Who are the characters is a very important. Third thing is, what is the struggle? What is the conflict? That is the heart of the story, my dear friends. So struggle is like the adversities, the challenges which the audience is just waiting for, because maybe they also have faced this kind of a challenges, and they understand from your story, they take that solution how to get out of it. Maybe it can be as simple as just having patience, right? So conflict is the major part of it. Number four is the outcome, right? Now, what is that which you want your audience to take away with them, right? So that is the outcome. So that outcome, it again relates to the purpose which you started with. And the last is obviously the takeaway. The audience is happy, and they are very happy that their time was utilized, and whatever questions they had in mind, and they took it from the purpose, from the context. So this takeaway again relates to the purpose which you started with, right? So these five questions, ask yourself to give a proper structure to a story. And yes, I hope you got something from this video, and next time when you are framing a story to tell it to the audience, hope you give a proper structure to it, as well as now that you don't have to talk only about the struggles or only about the achievements. You have to mix both. And the number one was, focus on the audience. Focus on the audience, not only your story. It is the audience story. It is the story for the audience. That's all for today, and keep watching.